great team today at jobs.memorial.health. Memorial is an equal opportunity employer.
Your information station, WTIM.
And it's the WTIM morning show right here on WTIM, your information station. I'm Tim Zalabak, your host of it. Thanks so much to the live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. On the phone line now, we have Superintendent Sasha Young at Central A&M School District. How are you today, Superintendent Young?
I am well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to get into our conversations ending of the first quarter here on Friday. Can't even believe we're saying that. And sounds like things, as you have said here, I'm going to quote you, things have been fantastically calm over at Central A&M School District. That's exactly what we want to hear.
It has been. It's we're at that time of year where kids are kind of in the rotation.
Yep.
You know, they know what's going on. The routine is a thing. Teachers are winding down first quarter, believe it or not, and gearing up for parent-teacher conferences and planning for the second quarter, which will take us into Christmas break, if you can believe that. So it's kind of the calm season, right? Here in my office, we've done the budget and we're gearing up for the tax levy. So we're kind of in between the two big, heavy things in our office too. So October has been fast, but everything's been going well.
That is great. And it might be because you guys at Central A&M Schools, you guys aren't undergoing any huge renovations. We talk to Pana and Taylorville frequently. They got a new elementary school over there in Pana. There's a big building project, Taylorville High School. Those things just seem to complicate the beginning of the year. I mean, nothing huge in terms of that kind of thing over at Central A&M. Is that right?
No, that's correct.
Right.
We always have some small projects going on.
Yeah.
Right now we're getting ready to undertake a bathroom renovation at our middle school, but not going to shut anything down, just kind of renovate when they can, and a sidewalk project here at the middle school as well, but nothing large enough that it's going to disrupt, the day for the students or for the staff. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Just basic upkeep stuff is exactly the kind of stuff.
Normal maintenance and repair and, make things look nice.
Yeah. And like you said, not condensing any classrooms and taking it out of teachers' days. Stuff like that on the horizon for Central A&M School District. I don't want to have you pull that off the top of your head right there, but I mean, is the district in need of anything large like that in the next 5-10 years?
I would think in the next 5 years, we would probably be, we have a need probably for adding some classrooms. Our enrollment is actually on the rise the last couple of years, which is a great problem to have, right? So planning every other month or so as a strategic planning team on what this looks like for us. Is it renovations? Is it additions? How can we kind of get ahead and be proactive with some of those things that we see might happen in the next 5 years or so. Yeah. We started talking about it last year because coming in, I didn't really know the history of enrollment. Sure. So as I was learning the communities, I was hearing from teachers and administrators that the numbers were growing and that the spaces that we had to put students in was kind of shrinking, right? So running out of classrooms could be a thing in the next 5 years. Yeah. So like I said, it's a great problem to have, but we are attempting to get ahead of it now so that we can be ready for it when it happens.
As you're saying, being proactive in it is much easier than responding to a problem the year of and dealing with bidding and all the pricing.
You can plan for the budgeting of the projects, and it's not a last minute need that you haven't quite figured out how we're paying for it yet. So it's not a place we want to be in.
No, absolutely not. Let's talk a little bit more first quarter from students, from staff. What have you heard? What has went well? What needs some fixing?
Well, we've done our first quarter benchmarking, and it seems to me that who I've heard from that went pretty well. Good. So kids are kind of right where they need to be. You always have the small groups of kids who haven't quite hit their niche yet, and that's fine. They'll get there by Christmas, but yeah, it seems like the teachers and the students are all kind of just right where we want them to be. Our teachers had the opportunity to hear some really great keynote speakers last week at the ROE 11 Teachers Institute in Mattoon and Charleston. I think they came back energized and motivated and ready to finish the quarter strong. So that's always good when you have a Teacher Institute day that feels like a success.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so we're ready to kind of wind down fall and jump into winter, I guess you could say.
Absolutely. And as we're moving towards that season, and it was kind of sparked at a recent school board meeting, I believe it was Taylorville. There was a change for them, at least. I want to know if it was statewide or if it varies upon the school district. ACT, SAT, is there a change there for your high schoolers this year? Have you guys stuck with the same test?
That's a statewide change.
Okay.
Yeah, so the state has adopted the ACT as the official state test for our high schoolers. So yeah, there are going to be changes to all high schools across the state, I guess, public high schools anyway, that moving towards taking that test this spring instead of the SAT that we've taken, for quite a few years.
Yeah.
So I think the intentions behind the change were probably, well thought out, and there's probably some value into switching it up every once in a while, make sure our students are where they need to be and on track for college and career, in the future. So
it's a bit of a different test. How do educators go about preparing? Is there a change there? Does everyone need to be kind of switching to an ACT model or an SAT model?
I don't know that it requires change. I think it probably just requires maybe a different approach. I know when I was a teacher, if the assessment changed, when I was elementary teacher, the assessment that we were testing our kids on changed 3 times in my teaching career. So as the educator in the room, you kind of adjust to maybe the style of the test, but the content pretty much stays the same. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the state test may, just switch up what they're asking students to produce or what they're asking students to know for the test, but not necessarily know, but how they show what they know is the part that really changes.
Yeah.
So I haven't heard any major concerns from any of our high school staff or our building administration. So I think we're ready. We're ready to take on the task of the change. No one really knows how effective a change is until it's been around for a while.
Right.
So this first year will be a learning curve for all of us.
Sure. I was going to ask if there was a general consensus amongst the educators there, if it is an eye-rolling thing. Gosh, we got to switch tests again. But again, like you said, it's more of an adaptive piece there. Have you heard? Is there an opinion out of the educators on this?
I've not.
Okay.
I've not heard anything here in my district.
Okay.
I know I've heard it. We've talked about it at the superintendent level and some meetings and things. And I would say there are always concerns anytime you change something, because we as educators know that when you change something, it takes time to really be able to understand the change and show really real good growth from the change. So the major concern is just, giving the school districts the grace to show they know what they're doing and not just looking at the first year and being like, oh, yep, they're not ready.
Sure.
Just the shift itself will cause some students to not test as well as they may have had they not changed. So, we just ask for a little bit of grace from the school district to understand that change takes time, and our kids are just as ready for college and career as they were when they were taking the old test.
Absolutely. And it would take a couple of years of that testing to find out what those numbers really mean, where Central A&M schools really do stand and how the students are receiving that test. Last couple of minutes here in our first segment, Superintendent Young, let's talk a little bit more first quarter, first semester type of fun stuff. Homecoming, sports have all been going off. How did homecoming go over there?
Homecoming was good. We unfortunately had to cancel our parade and our bonfire and some fun things because it was just not a good week weather-wise. But we have rescheduled our homecoming parade for this week for senior night instead. So we'll be doing our parade for senior night. The Gregory School and Bond School, both of the elementary schools, are doing a fundraiser cookout before the game Friday night that was scheduled for homecoming. So we kind of moved some of the fun events from homecoming week to this week, and we'll just do it in conjunction with our senior celebration. So
Yeah, combined for
it went really well.
combined for an even bigger party there. I'm glad
Yes.
homecoming itself went well, and I'm glad those activities and parade has been rescheduled, and then that will go off. We have talked ourselves right into a break here, Superintendent
Okay.
Young, but we have Sasha Young, Superintendent at Central A&M School District, on the phone line now. Great conversation in that first half. We got to go. Before we do, thanks so much, live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. We'll be right back here on WTIM, your information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
WTIM on its many platforms, AM, FM, and online, brings you Taylorville Tornado football, boys basketball, all season long, and playoff games of all teams. Tornado Sports on WTIM and stream live on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com are brought to you by
First National Bank, Advanced Eye Care, and McDonald's.
all in Taylorville.
The purple and gold are coming your way. The Taylorville Tornadoes are gonna do it today.
Dr. Poppy Gill from Springfield Clinic, Taylorville, is here to talk about staying protected during flu season.
Flu season is upon us, and now is the perfect time to get your flu shot. It's quick, safe, and effective at keeping you protected throughout the winter months. By getting vaccinated, you're not only safeguarding yourself, but also helping to stop the spread of the flu in our community. Stay healthy this season. Get your flu shot today.
Protect yourself and those around you this flu season. Schedule your flu shot at Springfield Clinic, Taylorville by calling 217-287-8855 or walk in today.
They're back. School is back in session. When the kids come home, give them the protein-packed flavors of Prairie Farms Grab-and-Go Milks. They all provide the protein and nutrition your body needs. Grab-and-Go Milks, just another way you can help your kids' nutrition and health. From the farm families of Prairie Farms Dairy to your family. Grab them in your grocery or convenience store dairy case.
This is Bill Pinkston, General Sales Manager at Landmark of Taylorville. Stop in today and harvest some huge savings on the final 2024s. Right now, you can save $11,000 on a new Silverado RST. Prefer a GMC Sierra? Current GMC owners can save over $12,000 on a new GMC Denali. Need a redesigned fuel saver? You can save over $5,000 on a Buick Encore GX. Plus, we have over 350 pre-owned vehicles in our family dealerships. And with our lifetime powertrain warranty, why would you buy anywhere else? Shop us day or night at landmarkattaylorville.com. And remember,
You always do better at Landmark.
Thank you for listening to this Miller Media Group radio station. We appreciate you making the choice to tune in to us. We want to remind you of some things to keep the attorneys happy. Our stations allow one winner per household in a 30-day period. Cash prizes are mailed to our winners within 30 days of winning. And as you've probably already guessed, portions of today's programming on this Miller Media Group radio station were pre-recorded and are mechanically or digitally reproduced. There. Now we've made the attorneys happy. Thanks again for listening to this Miller Media Group station.
Perry Stanfa here, owner of Central Illinois Truck Service in Greenville. If you're a trucker, you know you gotta keep your rig on the road. Let our certified techs using the latest software keep you on the road. Click on our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com and let us work for you.
SIU Family Medicine wants the best health for you and your family. Be a champion. Protect your loved ones. The SIU Center for Family Medicine of Taylorville is accepting new patients. Click their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com to schedule your appointment.
Your information station, WTIM.
And welcome back into WTIM, your information station, in the midst of our WTIM morning show with Superintendent Sasha Young at Central A&M School District. Thanks so much to these live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. Superintendent Young, Central A&M School District is home to 3 Illinois State Scholars this year. That is amazing.
Yes, we are super excited. So we have 3 gentlemen who have been recognized as Illinois State Scholars this year. We have Griffin Adrian, we have Paul Brown, and Avery Smith. And they were just recognized, I believe, yesterday was when the names came out. Yeah, so they're in the top 10% or fewer than high school students. They are showing their strength and their honor of being a state scholar through their ACT or SAT test scores, class ranks, if the school, ranks their students, and then unweighted GPA, and class sizes. So yeah, this year we have 3 Illinois State scholars,
Wow.
which is amazing.
Yeah. Big congratulations to those 3 right there. And thank you for describing a bit of the criteria there. I had no idea what went into an Illinois State Scholar. Past years for Central A&M School District, have you guys had any?
Yeah, last year we had 2.
Cool.
Those are really the only 2 years I can speak to,
Yeah.
but it's always exciting to have at least one name, on the
Absolutely.
Illinois State Scholar list. So yeah, 2 last year, 3 this year, maybe 4 next year, right?
Absolutely. You're going in the right direction with it. And what does this mean for the school district itself? Is it more of an individual accomplishment for these kids, or does it say something for Central A&M schools? What does it do?
I think it's more of an individual, accomplishment, but we always like to celebrate all of those accomplishments, with extracurriculars, academics, arts and music, and we like to celebrate all the things. So this is just one more way of celebrating our students.
Absolutely. Oh, that is so great. Happy to get those names out on the air as well. They definitely deserve it. Illinois State Scholars. There's 3 of them over at Central A&M schools. And it sounds like, as we're moving topics here, book fair coming over to Central A&M schools. Which school in specific, and when?
So the book fair for November will be at Bond Primary School.
Cool.
They have a theme picked out, and they'll have some fun activities to go along with while they're hosting the book fair. But Gregory Intermediate had it in early October. It went over like gangbusters. It's always exciting as an elementary kid to be able to go to the book fair and see all of the things that you have to convince your parents that you want to purchase.
Yeah, we were talking about it around the office the other day when we had a recent book fair conversation. And yeah, you needed that $5-10 for a poster or a smelly pencil or anything but an educational book. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Superintendent. That's just where we were at. It's so great. How do you get the book fair back into schools? Is it, I don't know if you're going to know if it's the same one that I saw, 10, 15 years ago. Is it a similar program that comes through at each school? Is it a bus?
Yep. It's kind of a semi loaded down with all the things on these foldable carts that become the shelves when you bring them in and you open them up. And our librarians at each school are in contact with the company that they can purchase those books through, and it kind of becomes a thing where the company makes a little bit and the school will make a little bit of profit off of it too. So it's kind of a fundraiser for the school as well. The percentage is small, but it gets the books in here. It gets some new books in here that maybe we don't have in our library, and give kids the opportunity to see some things new and expose them to those, posters and pencils and all the extra things too.
Sure. Didn't know it had a little extra benefit there and a little fundraiser for you guys. It's even better for the day there. A few minutes left on this morning show. FFA students, they were up to something recently.
Yes. So our FFA students served lunch last week. They call it Feed the Farmers program. And if you are a farmer and you happen to be coming through Moweaqua the day they decide to feed lunch to the farmers, you can just stop by whatever intersection they're set up at and get a free lunch on our FFA. Yeah.
Well, especially during harvest season, I'm sure they appreciate that. You try to get it going around this time every year?
Lots of traffic by the grain cooperative, and so it's just their way of saying thank you to some people who are not always appreciated as much as they should be. So
absolutely. Do you know what they served?
I believe it was pork chops. There were several pictures of young gentlemen frying up things on the large grill. So I believe it was pork chops, and they put them in to-go containers, so the farmer has the opportunity to take it with them. And
absolutely.
it was a great way of showing thanks to some community members for sure.
Totally. Can't go wrong with pork chops for this county as one, but also with the farmers. I'm sure they were happy to see those pork chops there. Sasha Young, we have 1 minute left. There's going to be this isn't quite Central A&M schools, but it could be valuable for parents. And it was just the population over there in Moweaqua and Assumption. Kemmerer Village open house. How does this relate to you guys?
Yes. So we are the school at Kemmerer Village, so we work closely with them to educate the students who live there on campus, and they have a huge open house happening this weekend. If you visit the open house, not only could you potentially have a lot of fun, but you could learn a little bit more about what Kimmer Village does in all of its aspects, not necessarily just the school piece, which is what most people know, but they're volunteering and they're serving the community, along with how the students in the cottages are, attending our schools.
Yeah.
So, yeah, lots to learn, but good time to be had as well.
Yeah, a lot of benefit can come out of that. And Superintendent Young, we are out of time, but thank you so much, as always, for joining us on the morning show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Of course, Superintendent Sasha Young of Central A&M School District right here on the WTIM Morning Show. You've been listening to WTIM, your information station.
With SRN News, I'm Greg Clugston in Washington. Nebraska's Supreme Court has ruled that people with felony records can register to vote and cast ballots in next month's presidential election. Today's decision affects several thousand Nebraska residents. Ukrainian President Zelensky wants